Greetings. Back with another one. It's been a long time coming, but this installment, I would like to give a breakdown of the clash between two gladiators. And of course, I'm talking about, as you can see on the screen, I'm talking about the classic showdown between Bruce Lee and Chuck Norris in the 1972 martial arts classic, The Way of the Dragon. Now, this was actually Bruce's first film that he wrote, directed. I mean, this was like his directing debut with this film. And they shot it in Rome. And out of all of Bruce Lee's fighting, major fight scenes in all of the big four films that he made before he passed, this fight scene probably amongst fans would probably be his best one. Out of all of growing up throughout all the years, a lot of people who enjoy Bruce Lee's films as much as I did. Again, people always say like, what was the most memorable scene? Not even fight scene, just scene from his films, period. But out of all the fight scenes, like I said, because my uncle, he was a big Bruce Lee fan as well, so I remember watching this film with him countless times. And this scene probably is ranked like the most. I don't know. I can't even find my tongue, but this is probably the most memorable one for a lot of people, and I wouldn't argue with them. I mean, and what I loved about this film is that from what we have been told, by his widow Linda Lee, Bruce had like an overwhelming personality. He had he had a sense of humor, and you can see that in this feature. Some of the things. I mean, you definitely see a lot of Bruce's goofy side of him in this feature. It's just the certain things that he did. His looks and his glances. Smiling. It's just a lot of goofiness. You really see like Bruce's human side, because you always in his other films he was like this hard Iron Man guy who was just, like I said, it's just hard to explain. But this film was. It stood out from the other films in terms of just the humor and stuff like that. It was a lot of humor in this film, just the certain things and stuff like that. But yeah, let me just shut up and rambling like I always do and just watch this classic showdown between these two gladiators in the Coliseum. Apologize for all this other stuff. See what I'm saying? Just the wide shots, you see the feet. Like I said, man, just Hong Kong. And that, from what I heard, that was actually Bruce's cat. That was actually a cat of his that he just brought to the set and put into the scene. With the it's like I said, it's very Western. I love how how they push close into the character. Very Western. Bruce was very influenced by how they did films in the West. Chuck Norris is so hairy, it's just remarkable. And of course, Chuck Norris, he was the karate champion at this time, and from what I've heard, I think Joe Louis was originally going to be in this role, and then something happened, and I don't think Chuck Norris was Bruce's first pick. I think it was Joe Louis. Not Joe Louis the boxer. There was a martial artist by the name of Joe Louis, who was a very big name. Anybody who knows him. This is how Bruce is getting light on his feet, cat-like, kind of, with the boxing. Bruce was very much a boxer. And like this sequence right here, where they slow down, this is actually my favorite part of the whole fight. This sequence right here, I just love it with the wide shot and with the drums in the back and the techniques, and I just love it. I love this part. Like, I've just I would just look at this sequence over and over and over again. I just love it. Chuck Norris just being one of the all-time great kickers and stuff like that. Beautiful technique, and Bruce is just swaying through it. I just love that sequence. I just love it. It's my favorite part of it. And of course, that's not actually the Coliseum. That's just a little backdrop that they made. But I love the concept, though. Just two gladiators clashing. That was Bruce's concept, fighting to the death. That was very big in Bruce's films. You know, the kicking up the camera, crescent kick there. Low strike. Focusing on those feet. Wham. Wrap it. Like I said, Bruce Lee just had such a beautiful technique, man. There he goes, you know, wide shot. Construct. And feint to the roundhouse. That boxing influence. Oh, followed up. I love this little secret right here too. Going to it. Combo. And this is where Chuck tries to, like, you know, mirror him. Leading with the side kicks. And intercepted. Like I said, this is kind of a gesture for Chuck to do for Bruce, because I remember Chuck was saying when Bruce called him, and Chuck was like, "Oh, you want to take on the world champion?" And based on what Chuck said, Bruce was like, "No, I want to kill the world champion." So yeah, Bruce Lee and Chuck Norris were very good friends. They actually worked out with each other and bounced ideas off each other and stuff like that, and they learned a lot from each other. And like I said, you can find videos of Chuck Norris, you know, talking about Bruce and his time that he spent with him before Bruce died and all that stuff. Hold up. I like this little technique right here. Iron block going into the... So like I said, I just love the hypnotic, you know, score that you're hearing throughout. You know, with the ambiance and stuff. I just love. That's the sort of things I look for in films too. Just the ambiance of what you're hearing and stuff like just the. I just love stuff like this because it really immerses you what you're seeing on the screen, not only from what you're seeing but what you're feeling as well. Like the characters, like obviously, for example, like Chuck, he's kind of banged up here. And sometimes with these scores, it kind of gives you a sense of what the character is feeling as well, not just of what's going on in the scene. Is also the psychology of the characters as well. And I like how a lot of composers and filmmakers do that. And Bruce is like, man, you're done, man, you're done. Just live to fight another day. And the cat. And doom, doom. And Bruce going into a guillotine choke there, and down goes Norris permanently, or a Colt, his character in the film. And Bruce with that look, he always gave in his films where he's like, I didn't want to do it, but it was either you or me. Like, he would often have those little looks. And like I said, Bruce Lee would have been a great silent actor. Like, it was just certain scenes where he didn't have to say anything. You just knew what he was feeling, or the character, what he was feeling. And this is also a sequence that I like in this film too. How he, you know, picks up his gi top in his belt, and he places it on his opponent as a as a way of saluting his opponent. There was no hatred among this. It was just two gladiators, two warriors fighting to the death, and it's a way of respect and honor to your opponent. So, and I love how Bruce conveys this in the scene, how to close out this bout. It's very beautiful, gesture from one martial artist to another. And again, with the score, he just uh, yeah, man, I had to do that one, right? Classic, classic. Like I said, man, Bruce Lee just gone too soon, man. He was 32 when he left us, and like I said, he died what 14 years before I was even born. But when it's just remarkable how someone who wasn't even on walking around the same time you were, that can have such an impact. It just lets you know how universal motion pictures are. Doesn't matter how old, and doesn't matter what country, doesn't matter what culture, man. It just anything can just have that grasp on you. It can affect you in a very, very strong way, very positive way, very inspirational way. But yeah, man, I just had to do a breakdown of this because it's one of the all time great fight scenes of all time in motion picture history. And like I said, like I said, like I always say, if you can appreciate a great martial arts film with a very compelling story, relatable characters, a great philosophy and the message behind it, a lot of people would deem this one of their favorites. I mean, I know it is for me. But yeah, man, another one for the archives. 31 cents at it. It's your brother Bleak signing out. Until next time, us.